We are live here at the Charleston Boat Show. What a day, what a weekend. We got Reggie back out. Reggie, say hey.
Hello.
He's in there digging in the ice. Reggie, if y'all don't remember Reggie came out in July, did a fantastic job, and he's back here again today. So Reggie, what are we cooking today?
We have a orange whiskey brine snapper.
Okay.
That's going to be seared off with a Carolina gold rice risotto. Today I will show you how to fillet a non-scaled fish. I usually don't keep the skin on for a fish this size, just because the skin is a little bit more tougher. But what I would do is, if I had scaled it, I'd take the skin off and I will crisp up on its loin, and that'd be like a little garnish on top. But today, we're just gonna not deal with that. I have a few different knives here. I'm a little extra when I break down my proteins in general. This knife right here is particularly for skinning it. This is just going to be able to get in the crease, and then this knife is where I can actually come through the meat. We use scissors a lot when breaking down the fish. It's very important when doing it with the scales, where you can just cut through the scales and then go from there. I prep my fish more than what some other chefs would do. My first thing is I always cut the fins off the bottom. So I just cut this off at the bottom, and I should get this. Use my bigger knife. Cut. Boom. All right. So first things first is I always take the head off. Come right under the scales. Got that. So now this knife is small. That is a little bit more bulkier. I can now work this knife around, as you can see, and just work my way down. And all I do is just, you want to twist the head. I twist the head off, comes off pretty easily. Take my little bigger knife, come through, boom. Now, what I do is I just follow that tail on down. Sometimes I turn my knife inwards, just to get in. Boom. Now I'm gonna show it with the scissors, if it cuts through. Yeah, so as you can see with the scissors, I use it to just cut a little bit in. So I come, I just glide my knife. I always stay close to the carcass. Like, my big thing is, as I'm moving through, I can see the body of the spine moving too. So all you gotta do is come down. You can see where that bone I was talking about, that lifts up. You can actually cut through that, and you can start doing the other side. So you just gotta make sure you get through that first layer, then after that, you're good to go. And once I can feel that spine right there, I stop and pretty much do the exact same thing on this side. So as you can see, I actually miss the top bone, and I'm already starting to fillet the other side. So if that happens, all you gotta do is come down, and boom. So now you readjust and stay on that line. So now I can feel where I'm at, and I do have to come up just a little bit more. Lift. Boom. So now all I gotta do is just come down the spine. Now as you can see, it lifts off pretty easily. So now the only thing that's holding it attached is the rib bones. And what I do, I take my scissors and I actually just cut the rib bones. And all I gotta do is come, fix myself, and then boom. At the top, that's when you see a lot of tugging. And this is what I was talking about with not trying to force your way through, because you get this, and I don't like this. I prefer a nice, clean fish. And now I'm gonna go ahead and start taking the belly meat off. So all I do is come, break through the bones. So as I come down, I actually start to curve my knife. I just come, cut, boom. When you're filleting meat, taking the skin off, it's going to be a little bit more easier to take the skin off just because it has scales on it. So what I do is I come and do it like this, and then I bend forward. The reason why I do it like that is because I can hold on to something. And my knife is just not completely angled directly into the skin, but slightly. And I just come, adjust myself. But as you can see, straight, pretty much most of the meat off. We're going to portion finish out, and then I'm gonna get started on cooking that dish, which is really easy to do. So that's one portion. So I got about 6 portions out of one fish, and that's about a 3-pound fish. That's our fish portions. Okay, perfect. That's getting hot. And now I'm just grabbing my oils. This is just regular grapeseed oil. I don't like having a big bottle when I don't need it, so I just use one of my empty extra virgin olive oil. Repurpose. Hit a little bit of oil in both pans. So when you're doing a risotto is an Italian dish. Usually it's made with this thing called arborio rice. Arborio rice is small grain rice. It has a higher starch content, and you do not wash arborio rice at all. But today I'm using the Carolina Gold rice. Now, sometimes it has a lot of starch on here, and doing this dish, I'm gonna be moving the rice around a decent amount. I always do one wash on the Carolina Gold rice just to get some of the starch off. And since I'm not adding any cheese, and just pretty much chicken stock, wine, butter, I wanna just help not let it get like cakey. Too much starch is gonna make it very cakey. And then I'm finishing off with some smoked olive oil. I have some curly parsley. I was gonna go do Italian parsley, but a nice classic garnish of seafood is done with a lemon wedge and curly parsley instead. And wrapped inside here is dill. I wrap all my herbs and stuff in like some paper towel just to be able to take on that extra moisture. Because once you let your herbs and stuff sit in the moisture, it gets all slimy and stuff, and I don't like that. I have some celery greens. It's pretty good. A lot of people throw them away. I use them as garnish. You're not the best. Lemons, shaved Brussels sprouts, onions, 1 serrano pepper, extra Brussels sprouts, and then some, don't mind how big this container is compared to the amount it is. I couldn't find any deli cups. So these are blanched asparagus. So I did some salted water, some spices. Usually it's just salted water, come that to a boil, put it in and shock it in ice. Just because as you can see how bright the color is, that shockiness help keep that color. Because as you can cook it more, it turns darker. And that just cellular walls just break it down more. And then usually I usually make chicken stock from scratch, but I was like, why not show everyone my go-to chicken stock when I need chicken stock on the fly? And this is it. Kitchen basic, pretty solid. Always get unsalted. Everything I use is unsalted, particularly because I need to control how much salt I add into my dish. Sometimes some people just throw salt in and forget. Oh, well, my cooking wine has salt in, and my chicken stock has salt in, and it's just easier to dismiss all of that process. And then I have an orange to zest, and the fish is actually going to get some squeeze of orange juice at the end. When getting your risotto started, these are white onions. Usually a classic risotto use shallots, but I've been using white onions particularly because I really love it, and just because I want to have a little bit more of a bite to it. So hear that sizzle? That's good. The onions are going to caramelize just a tad. So I'm gonna let my onions cook down first. Then I'm gonna add my rice. And you wanna cook the rice some, because once you toast that Carolina Gold rice, it's so good. This is the color that I want. As you can see, not all of it has caramelized, but some has. And that's what I want. I don't want too much caramelization, but I don't want too little. So now, like I say, this is an eyeball, not a certain amount. This looks good enough. Now, all I do is get all that nice and toasted. Because once you know you got a nice toast on your rice, it has a nutty smell to it. All right. So, yes, a little bit of char. Now, I'm gonna hit it with some chicken stock. But not too much water inside of the dish. I mean, inside your pan, but just enough, you know. I'm gonna slowly cook the rice. I'm gonna slowly add liquid to it. Garlic is from a local farm here. I got it off the farmer's market. And I just go from there. I use about 4. Now there's a few ways how you can do it. Put it in a little, like another metal, 2 metal bowls, shake it up. That can also help it come off. I also just straight up peel it. All you gotta do, take a quick microplane. Boom. So now it's to the paste. So you won't get like a chunk of garlic in your mouth. It's gonna dissolve away. Boom, good to go. Let's take the rest of that off. Boom. Oh, so as you can see, that pathway is created. So now I'm about to add some more stock to it, and that's gonna take it along. Since I already did the second wave of liquid, I go ahead and I add bay leaves into it. So now that's gonna cook with everything. That's gonna take the flavor. When you're doing a regular, like a traditional risotto, none of that is added in. But back to the fish, I just take some of my grapeseed oil, leaf it up some. I can have that shaking motion help push out the oil. This is cooking wine. You can get it out the store. I started with this when I first started cooking because I couldn't buy wine. Now you can use this. All the alcohol is actually cooked out. So you're just getting the flavor of the masala. That's it. No, you got white wine, you're just getting the flavor of the white wine. And I add some of this. And I do these in stages. You can get regular wine, and you can do that. You just don't want to add too much of it just because I think the flavor, the wine intensity is a little bit more. Also, you have to cook out the wine, so you want to add it in a little bit more smaller portions just to cook out faster. So now I'm adding in my blanched asparagus. So I add some of this in. And that's going to finish cooking because the asparagus is actually still raw. I'm using adobo, particularly for this dish. I season it. Since the wind is blowing this way, I have to come over some before they can actually attach. But usually you want to season from above to cover the whole thing. Turn it around. Now this will get salt. This seasoning does have salt inside of it, So like I said, be courteous of what you have salt and what doesn't. Another quick thing that I love using is Tony's. Tony's Slap Your Mama. The reason why, it has all the spices that I need quickly. So all I do a little light. I just do a quick shake back and forth. Since the fish has skin on, I'm not worried about it buckling up. But I always start my fish on the flesh side down, and then I finish off on the skin side. Give it a little press, make sure the whole full thing is connected. Okay. That's gonna go, do its thing. So I do about 2 minutes on the flesh side, and then 2.5 minutes on the skin side. Now, if I have the skin on, I actually will start with the skin first, and that will cook for a good 3.5 minutes and finish. As you can see at the edges, it starts to get a little bit of brown. That's my sign is, all right, time for it to flip. So all I'm doing is flip it. So I'm about to add some more liquid to it for it to create some, actually I need to add lemon juice too, but about 5 tablespoons of butter. This is not getting much butter to it at all, and I need some more fat. Now I'm about to actually go ahead and season. So I prefer kosher salt with the little umbrella, but this right here is, I can't remember the name of the brand with the little umbrella, but it's the same brand, but this is called pickling salt. And all it is just a finer salt. That's it. So now, as you can see, I don't always cook my fish completely through. I actually will go ahead, take it out, and let it rest. That's why when you get like very, just a moist fish inside a restaurant, it's because they let it rest. All right, this is actually good to go. But as you can see, this is the texture that you really want a true risotto to be. I'm gonna zest this orange real quick. And when you're zesting, some people will do it like this. Usually you see the people zest it like this. Since I'm also gonna cut and use the orange and finish the serrano pepper off with it, I just do like this, and as you see, it's still orange. It's not white. You do not want the white part of your citrus fruit. That's where you get the bitterness from. I just come around, and that's the perfect amount I need for this particular dish. Now I get the pepper. This is serrano. This is one, yeah. I don't want too much spice. I just want a little bit of it. So I'm gonna save the other half for the next recipe. So just for you to know, all the spice is actually in the seed. So if you don't want too much of that, just take the seeds out. So I do right here, boom. Now, just your orange and your lemon. The serrano peppers inside. Let's go ahead and plate. Cool, it's nice and hot. All right, finish with some white pepper. So just a quick, as I'm doing this, so White pepper is like very light. So as you can see, it looks like I'm adding a lot of it, but you're not going to even taste that much of it. It's just a slight accent. So this right here, like I said earlier, just celery leaves. Because why throw them away? They actually have a decent flavor to it. And all you got to do, I just break them up. All right, so finish off with some smoked extra virgin olive oil. So now, and that's it. Done.
Wow, Reg. Thank you very much. Wow. Thanks again, Reggie, for hanging out with us.
See you in a few minutes, pretty much.
Yeah, we got to reset. 'Cause,
Yeah.
What are we doing? Crab next?
Yep, crab
All right.
cakes.
So we'll see you in a few minutes, everyone. Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere.